Hey. Welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining me. Just wanted to, kind of have a brief little chat. I always go back and forth on this, or not really back and forth, I go all over the place with this idea of how do we help people. It's not so much a question of what needs to happen for someone to change and find happiness in their life. I feel like that's pretty easy to understand, actually. The mystery is not really there most of the time. I'd say most ailments, most emotional distress that people are going through could be solved pretty quickly with an emphasis on just like proper sleep, proper diet, proper exercise, and then like more secondary, like what are you being stimulated by, what thoughts are on your mind, and they go hand in hand. Like if you have really negative thoughts on your mind and you're very stressed out all the time, chances are you will have some physical consequences for that stress you're always putting yourself through. I shouldn't say you're putting yourself through it, because sometimes, we are in stressful situations that seem almost impossible to get out of. My question, though, is for someone who is clearly suffering. It's clear to them too, isn't it? They know that they're, whether they're like physically unhealthy, mentally unhealthy, it's not news to them. Regardless of the brave face they put on, they understand. We can all feel it. I had like a little back and forth in the comments on a recent video about basically I had I've got this candle. I'll use it as a little as a prop for my example. So quite a few weeks ago, I had lit a candle in honor of Mother Mary, who I have no familiarity with. I wasn't raised worshiping the Virgin Mary, but I just tried to basically look into myself while I was in this sort of meditative state and picture myself in her presence. And what happened was I had this interesting visual of her reassuring me. She reached down into me and she pulled out this light, this glowing orb, and she pulled it out of me, and she said, I'm kind of forgetting exactly how it went. There's a video about it. It's called, I think it's called Allow Your Inner Light to Shine. So that light that she pulled out was my good spirit. And she told me that I could live 1,000 lifetimes. I'm just paraphrasing. My memory is sort of fuzzy. You could live 1,000 lifetimes and this would remain unchanged, the light within me. And I realized what that meant for me was that, and what I discussed with this person back in the comments, was that guide, that truth that we can touch or get in touch with, this just knowing of the truth, this way of discerning between right and wrong that comes so naturally to us when we're in this certain state of mind. That's what she was showing me. She was saying, no matter how far you get off the path, this light will always be here to show you the way. And that's not to say that you'll always end up following that light, but it's there to guide you. And when you fall off of that path and you lose your connection with that inner guide, that compass that's pointing you in the right direction, you start to fall apart, in one way or another. It could be emotionally, physically, just your lifestyle could kind of fall out of balance. When that happens to us, it's usually visible. People, you can just look, or like take your workplace, for example. There's some people who just have that life flowing through them. They're alive, they're vibrant. And then there's other people who are just kind of scraping by, hanging on by a thread. You just can feel that struggle within them. And it is a struggle because they know what's right and they're kind of not following what they know. And so that is not the problem for us as people who want to help, showing them the way. They know it, okay? They feel it. But it's motivating them and inspiring them to make that change themselves. Part of the struggle, I think, for some of these people, and for myself when I was in that position, which I have been, is that you don't believe that you can actually bring that higher self to fruition. You don't believe that you can actually execute that plan that is within us. It's like we're a plant and we're growing, and we're all, like, the blueprint is laid out. There's this fully realized version of ourselves that can be brought to life. But do we allow that to happen, or do we let life sort of stunt our growth, let the world, let our thoughts, let our experiences, or our emotions, do we let those things stunt our growth and kind of keep us in these fixed positions, let our leaves to sort of wilt, and we become unhealthy, we kind of start to die almost. And I've seen this in people. It's really sad. Like, it's someone I knew well at one of my first jobs, just let their life, body, and mind fall apart. And I actually don't know that this person's still alive. Last I heard, they had a stroke at the age of 30, which is unheard of. And this guy knew what he was doing. I mean, I actually, looking back, think of it as sort of a self-abuse, self-harm type of thing, where he just knew that he was destroying himself, but he didn't feel that he was worth preserving, So when we have these ideas that we're not worth saving, we're not worth preserving, we're not worth anything, that is going to allow us to, or almost justify, staying in our disheveled, lowered state. So it's not a matter of teaching people how they are supposed to be. I believe that instruction exists in them at all times. And it's because it's there. It's because that light is shining within them that they blame themselves for the low state that they find themselves in. It's because they know right from wrong, that they have that self-doubt and shame, because they know that what they're doing is not what they should be doing. It's pretty simple. But so again, it's not showing them that light. They know it. It's just reminding them that they are in possession of this power, of this beauty, of this spark that, when fully realized, will make them these beautiful, powerful people. And until they are up to speed with that reality, that that spirit within them exists, and they can stoke that flame within themselves, and build themselves into something great. And even when they're in these unhealthy positions, physically or mentally or both, they still have a lot to offer. It's not that they're wrong the way that they are. It's mainly that their concept of themselves is so low, and that just allows them to continue feeding this unhealthy lifestyle. So if the person I'm describing sounds like yourself, I imagine that this is a painful thing to listen to. Maybe you've clicked away by this point, but if not, just know that there is so much brilliance within you, within your heart, within, I don't know where it actually lies. I don't know that it shows up on an x-ray. For me, I feel it right beneath my rib cage, like right beneath my, I guess it's called the solar plexus. There is a feeling that I get my power from. That's where that kind of divine spark. I call it divine because it is just magical. It's so, we are so fortunate. It feels like a gift. We have this. I'm kind of bouncing around in my mind right now. What I'm trying to say is that part of life is learning to love yourself. But the reason we love ourselves is to open up that relationship with that inner voice, with that inner guide, and becoming one with that force. And a lot of the time, our separate view of ourselves as this individual with all these flaws and shortcomings, that view of ourselves is in direct contradiction with the true self that we are. I've said it many times, the goal of this channel, the goal of my life is to help others recognize that spark within themselves and live for it and nurture it and bring their true self to fruition. So there's a vision that I have and I dream about where every person on this planet is thriving and there's no violence, there's no need for conflict. We are all healthy, loving individuals in complete harmony with one another. There's no lacking. There's no what's the word? Inadequacy. Everything is working in perfect harmony, and that is a thing that many people before me and many people after me will continue to want to bring to reality. But I know that it's possible. You know what I mean? I know that it's true. I know that it can be done. And it's our job while we're here to try to guide us toward that place, as a society, as a species, as a planet, as a spirit. So, I actually didn't really know what I would say when I turned this video on. I just kind of wanted to let my mind go. So there it went. I love you guys. Thanks for watching, and check out the 3rd episode of the Tuesday Tune-In, probably around 4 o'clock tomorrow. Love you guys. Bye.